John here, and we've got a new sponsor, DistroKid. Now that you've finished your latest Pirate Math Sponge Core Twitch trek, it's time to get it out there so everyone can hear it. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. And because you're a High Gain listener, you get 30% off. Just go to distrokid.com/VIP/highgain. That's distrokid.com/VIP/highgain. And now DistroKid has an app. The DistroKid app is available for iOS and Android. You can download it at distrokid.com/app or in the App and Play stores. We'd like to take a minute to thank our pals over at Isotope, makers of software and plugins for audio repair, mixing, and mastering. The new gold standard of audio repair, Isotope RX11, is coming in May. Buy RX10 now on sale and get RX11 absolutely free when it's released. We use Isotope products here at the High Gain. It's an important part of how we've been able to bottle pure podcast gold week after week. High Gain listeners get 10% off using the promo code FRET10. That's FRET10. That's all at isotope.com. IZOTOPE.com.
Oh, hey, it's me, Ed Peterson.
Oh, hi, Ed. It's me, John Kiltica.
John, it's a High Gain podcast.
It is, once and again.
Once and again, we're going to talk about guitars.
Yes.
Semi-hollow body guitars.
Yes.
Exclusively.
Yes.
We're recording from beautiful West Seattle.
Again, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. High Gain Prime, High Gain Central.
High Gain HQ.
HQ. You've done a lot of rearranging, and it's way more open now. It's really nice.
Well, now we have these pesky cameras set up.
Uh-huh.
So we have to make room for additional lighting and...
Yep. White with gold hardware, a little white falcony kind of, but it's not that bright white.
This is called Classic White.
Okay.
This is a new guitar introduced this month.
Oh, no kidding.
We normally don't get the new stuff right out of the gate.
Hot off the presses.
This time we did.
Yeah.
Beverages, Ed.
I don't think there's any copyright violations or anything, but...
Kind of had a southern rock vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beverages,
yes. Oh, you got the Crow mug.
I got the Crow mug. We're back. Crack check,
Yeah.
2024.
Crack check.
Looks good. Looks like we're not growing. You know, I need to do maybe like what they did on the West Seattle Bridge.
Oh.
They marked as the crack was growing and, came back 6 months later and the crack had like tripled in size. And that's when they shut our bridge down.
Yeah.
I think we're okay. Black coffee in a Crow mug. The old standby.
Yes.
And then I improved my gut health. And I got to tell you, the last week...
Did it work?
Oh, my gut was tip-top, baby. You know what I'm saying?
That's some top shelf gut action.
Exactly. But I pivoted from worrying about my gut health to worrying about hair and nail health. So I got a Aura collagen tea. Healthier skin, hair, and nails. The collagen, John.
That's going to make your fingernails even more collectible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You were all high and mighty with your gut health game. How's your collagen game, John?
Probably shitty.
Your nails? Gross. Nail game? C-.
Nice nails. Pterodactyl claws.
Yeah. This thing has 17,000 milligrams of collagen. You kidding me?
Your nails are going to be growing as we're doing this episode.
Exactly. You got some coffee?
I do. I've got some coffee as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, last time, episode 312, I was getting my...
your electrolyte game.
Yeah, so I'm doing it again.
Okay.
With the Gatorade.
You are probably ready to just run a marathon.
That's right.
Off the chart.
That's right.
Electrolytes? I don't even know what that means. Do you know what that means?
No.
Huh.
You notice the kind of vibe I was rocking during the Beverage song.
Southern Rocky.
Yeah. I got a pedal to tell you about.
Okay, tell me about this pedal.
Sound like anything particular in terms of ampage?
That is not a good faith question, John. Before we recorded, you were like, hey, Ed, can you grab me that pedal off the shelf so I can plug it in?
Yes.
That pedal is not sitting over there in a bag.
And you're not about to make it up for the sake of the story.
That's right. Am I going to lie to the listener, John?
No.
No, they'd see right through it. Upfront Ed, that's what everybody calls me.
Upfront Ed, yes.
They've been calling me that for years.
Well, maybe it was the beginning of the boutique pedal age. Late 80s, maybe? Early 90s?
Oh, okay.
Marshall thought we should try to make a pedal that sounds like a Marshall amp.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with this pedal called the Governor.
Mm-hmm.
Gov''nor. Governor. Hey, Governor.
Oh, British style.
Yeah.
Where's Marshall located?
In the UK.
Oh, no kidding.
This pedal is, in fact, made in the UK. Mm-hmm. This one, I believe, is from like 1990. They have since reissued them because they were so popular. People really liked what they do, and so do I. It rings, I think.
Which is a Marshall thing.
A gain and a level, which is the same as volume. Bass, mid, treble. That's it, so you can dial in what you want.
Yeah. If we were actually testing, right, you could have gaffer tape over the Marshall thing. And it's like, oh, is it just some weird flavor of a rat? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what you would have thought about that.
I think no, I would not. Yeah, maybe.
I've got an Epiphone ES-355 here today, Ed.
Yes, you do.
In general, what is your opinion of Epiphone semi-hollow body guitars?
I don't know if I have one. Like, clearly they've made 335s forever, I guess.
They've mostly been manufactured overseas.
For sure.
And made to fit a specific price point. More budget-friendly?
Yeah.
I don't really know if it's a market makeover or some sort of image readjustment, but in 2020, Gibson decided to kind of beef up the perception of the Epiphone line. They came out with what was called the Epiphone Inspired by Gibson line of guitars.
Did they immediately hang the Mission Accomplished banner?
Oh, probably, yeah, sure.
We did it, folks.
Yeah.
Epiphone inspired by Gibson.
Yes.
A+ marketing.
In 2020, it was all solid bodies. Some Les Pauls, some SGs. You get the picture.
That sounds like what you're describing to me is Epiphone.
Yeah.
They made the Epiphone Les Paul and the Epiphone SG.
It was done in conjunction with Gibson US. They continued to be made overseas, but they had US wiring harnesses in them. The Epiphone headstock design was changed to the Gibson open book look.
Mm-hmm.
But then this year, 2024, they took it a step further. They are now calling it the Epiphone Inspired by Gibson Custom Collection. The Gibson Custom shop collaborated with overseas production to get as close to US vintage specs as they could and still have it be an affordable instrument. And that's what I'm holding here, the 1959 ES-355 in classic white. The headstock is still a Gibson open book. This also has the split diamond headstock inlay.
Yep.
The pickups are US-made Gibson custom buckers.
Okay.
Binding top and bottom and on the neck and on the headstock. Ebony fretboard.
You love that.
I do. CTS pots, Mallory capacitors.
So they didn't cheap out on the hardware.
Yeah, so it's all American hardware.
Yep.
Rolled fretboard edges.
Great.
Vintage original sheen, VOS they call it. So it's kind of matte, not really.
Yeah. I do like the white.
Let me show you what we've got here. These two humbuckers, volumes and tones.
Go necky.
Necky.
Great.
Let's go bridgy.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice to say we will keep Epiphone as an overseas brand, but what can we do to up the game in a way that makes it more attractive to people? Well, let's do more USA specs. Let's have it visually look more like the US examples. And then let's use US parts to do it.
Yeah.
And it's so new yet, will it appeal to people? I don't know. These come out at $1,300.
What's the low-end Gibson?
Well, all Gibson's 355s are available in the higher price tiers, but the lowest 335 they make is the modern, and it's $3,000.
Like almost triple.
It's like a $1,800 difference.
Yeah. You get two of these. Get one in white and one in black.
Yeah, and you can get it in black and cherry.
They didn't discontinue the other Epiphone lines, did they? Like, there is more than this Epiphone inspired by Gibson Custom.
That is true.
You can still get like a $500 335 or something?
Oh, sure. There are casinos for $500. Yes.
Okay.
But you can definitely feel the difference in something like this. It feels really good.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're however many minutes into this episode. We have to come up with a band name.
Okay.
I'm not doing a lot of market demographic research for the Gibson Corporation. That's just not something they've ever paid me to do. So apparently, if I were reductive, some bean counter at the Gibson Corporation went out and decided...
Why is that reductive? Bean counting is an important endeavor.
Sure. You're right. So some
valuable bean counter
there at the Gibson Corporation
yes.
decided that there's this hole in their demographic between the cheapest Gibson and the most expensive Epiphone, and they need to like fill that gap in the price point. The most expensive Epiphone used to be $800.
Yes.
Clearly there's some juice to squeeze right here in this $1,300 price point.
I agree with you, and that's lame. But is there $400 of value in this over that $800 model such that the consumer is going to say, yeah, that's cool?
We've done Epiphones, and a lot of times it's like, well, you know, you could buy new tuners for this thing and you could get better pickups and you'd have a great guitar.
So they've done it for you.
Yeah, they did it. Inspired by Gibson Custom. Shop now. I like the cherry better. White with shiny gold. You know, I'm not a white Falcon dude.
In this new 2024 edition of the Inspired by Gibson Custom, there's a 59 Les Paul. There's a Les Paul Custom.
Yep.
There's a 63 SG Custom. This ES-355. There's a Banner J45, like a War Years acoustic.
Nice.
57 SJ200, big old Southern Jumbo.
Yep.
And a J180.
Carina Explorer, Carina Flying V, Carina Kirk Hammett, 1979 Flying V.
Yeah.
Firebird 1. That's your jam, John.
It is.
I think I just have that weird Gibson thing where it just felt like they bought the brand and then proceeded to like go out of their way to ruin the brand and trying to rehabilitate a brand that they've kind of treated not great for 40 plus years.
When they were discussing this idea, do you think they had any alternatives? Well, I don't know. Should we bring it back to the U.S.? And somebody's like, no, we can't. Too late for that.
Is it?
They're not going to be able to make it in the U.S. for what they're paying overseas labor.
Yeah.
What else? Ideas. Gee, boss, what if it had all U.S. hardware?
Yeah. both Gibson and Fender have done the race to the bottom with their Squier and Epiphone lines. They have not thought, how good can we make the guitar? They've thought, how bad can we make the guitar? However, you get to a price point that there's a $120 guitar that has to be put on a boat and shipped back to the US, whatever math you've got to do, those same bean counters did that math.
And there's different intention in the audience, too. Dude that buys a brand new USA Gibson. Historically, the thinking might have been, yeah, he stepped up, he bought the big boy guitar. And then you would sell the Epiphone or the beginner models to try to get new users hooked. Is this part of saying, what if this is the one?
I think that's what they're going for.
You won't have to trade up later.
Yeah, I think, again, they've done 40 plus years, 50 years of marketing saying that nothing is good enough unless it's a Gibson. And so maybe what they're trying to do is get the 13-year-old to buy the $120 guitar, and then when he's 17, he buys this, I guess.
They're not going to have any of the baggage we have, remembering how the Gibson brand has been historically. They're just going to think, oh, I like it.
You don't have the baggage. You don't think in Gibson Epiphone terms, maybe. I've got some amount of money to spend on a guitar.
Yeah.
Why at that point would you buy the most expensive Epiphone and not two models down?
Are they thinking, well, there are less expensive Epiphones, or are they thinking it's still $1,700 less than a US one?
What this guitar needs is a salesperson. You walk in and there's the range of guitars, and you need someone to explicitly explain to you, well, these pickups are better and these tuners are better, and look, the binding's cool.
You know what I wonder? If this is good in a place like Thunder Road Guitars.
ThunderRoadGuitars.com?
Yes, that place.
Okay.
Because they are new, used, and vintage. Uncle Frank could line this up against 8 vintage Epiphones.
Oh, sure.
This could probably compare favorably to it for a lot less money.
The weird thing is the demographic for this guitar is probably me. Someone who knows enough to maybe not care about the Gibson name. And I don't really want or need a 335, but then it's like, well, it might be kind of cool to have this semi-hollow.
Yeah.
So this kind of fills that hole. You know, and I wouldn't feel bad. You could put a sticker on it.
Yeah.
I guess it feels kind of snooty to be talking about this. It's still a $1,300 guitar, you know?
Yeah.
There is kind of a snootiness to the made in the US thing.
Well, because it's tied to a price tag. Look, I've got this expensive thing, and you don't.
Probably.
Handmade leather boots made in America. They're $1,000, but it's because I care.
Yeah, I don't know.
To my hands and my ears, this guitar plays and sounds nicer than a less expensive Epiphone. But nice enough to get me off of aspiring to a Gibson branded one? I don't know.
There's a lot of episodes where we've talked about things made in Korea, made in Indonesia, and we're like, this thing is great.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we're usually talking about $500 guitars.
Yeah.
$800 at the high end,
Yeah.
right? This is half again as much. So is this guitar 50% better than the $800 guitar? Maybe.
Let's talk about the pickups. American Gibson USA pickups. Well, it's still a pickup, and the way pickups are made in these modern times is what it is. If you're collaborating with the dudes in China to make sure that this thing is a 1959 spec, assuming there's that communication, can't you just do the same thing for the pickups? Hey, Gibson USA guy, you got to go over there and make sure they're doing the pickups the way we want them done.
That's the problem. The baggage of the Epiphone name is all of Gibson's doing. Trying to reverse that trend by saying it's inspired by Gibson, that's a whole lot of too little too late for me.
I would like to see them get back to something more plausible.
Really, honestly, I think half of it is the marketing spin of it. I wonder how I would feel about this if it were just Epiphone Custom.
Yeah.
The best we can do.
Yeah.
I got bad news, John.
What?
I don't feel like we've come up with a great band name.
The Global Concessions?
I think I committed in episode 312 to a band name every episode. We're at episode 313 and I regret it.
All right, what do you got?
I thought it would just come out of the ether because we're so funny. Clearly, that's not the case.
I hang my head in shame.
I feel bad that I committed to it.
You gotta try it. Try and decide. Is it hello or goodbye? Buy or deny?
Well, basically, all the stuff we've been talking about. Is it a Gibson? Is it an Epiphone? Is it American? Is it overseas? Is it worth it? Is it not? Is it whatever? Is it a money grab? Is it a power play? Is it an advertising ploy? The Epiphone 1959 ES-355 inspired by Gibson Custom. Buy or deny?
Deny? Probably Ed Caveats.
Oh, yes, the Peterson caveats.
Peterson caveat, trademark. The Firebird was cool. But like this specific, if this were a Gibson, I'd probably be deny. No shame on the guitar specifically. If I were going to buy an Epiphone, yes, this is the one I would get. I'm just not going to get one of these guitars.
Yeah.
If you had brought in that Firebird one, maybe I would be tempted.
That's a tough one, yeah. I'm going to take the point of view of a person shopping for this. I want value for my money. Should I get this, John? If you want a semi-hollow body and you're set on the Gibson look and feel.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, it plays better than the $800 one, and I'm assuming you can't afford the $3,000 Gibson.
Almost the monetary aside, but not exactly. What about the guy who wants to buy the first guitar?
Oh, first guitar.
Is there enough to this guitar that you would say this one over the $500 one?
As a first guitar?
Yep.
Now I have to put on a different hat. I'm Junior's dad.
Yep.
Is he going to stick with it?
Right.
I think, as Junior's dad, that if he sticks with it, he can grow into this no problem. It'll hold up.
Yep.
But do I think Junior's going to stick with it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I go $500. Or maybe I'm one of those guys that's like, well, if he doesn't stick with it, this will hold its value better than the $500 one.
Will it? Another guess.
Absolutely. We don't get to have this discussion very often where we're looking at something that has just hit the market.
Yeah.
And we don't have a precedent to hang our hats on. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But I can tell everybody listening that there's nothing wrong with this guitar, and it plays great.
Yeah, and it's weird because we are just rating it against other Epiphone stuff.
Yeah.
Is there $700-800 of benefit to this guitar over the other one?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll take pictures of all the various features we've talked about that are USA inspired. So that you, the viewers, can figure it out for yourselves.
Yeah.
Figure out what level of dumb we are.
That'll be hard.
Always weigh in.
Yeah.
Next level dumb.
Hey, are we still proud members of the Ruinous Media Network of music-related podcasts?
And how? We sure are, yes.
How's Joe and the boys?
Joe and the boys are doing their thing.
Yeah. Summer's coming up. Can't wait to do that picnic again, like last year when they invited us to the picnic and had us all over for some hot dogs.
That was so cool.
Right?
Yeah. It's almost as if I imagined it. It was dreamlike.
This year, 2024, will be the year. You know what would be cool to wear?
What?
A nice Ruinous t-shirt.
Do they have t-shirts?
Exactly, John.
I'm going to take the pictures. I'm going to put them up, and let's let the market sort it out.
Yeah, let's let the market decide.
Yeah.
Let the market decide as a band's name. I feel like we've just done a bad job, and I overcommitted and underdelivered, and I apologize to the listeners.
We have to commit to that, too. Commit to sounding like morons when we come up with bad band names. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I think we proved that today.
Well, let's come back next week and think of more bad band names, and maybe we'll nail one.
The Mustache Pioneers. Is that a good band name?
Somebody tell us.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed.
Bye.
All right, bud.